The year was 1969, a year that would be etched into the annals of history for its seismic shifts and monumental events. The world was on the brink. Political tensions and social upheavals were the order of the day, creating a volatile atmosphere that seemed ready to ignite at any moment. From Vietnam to the Middle East, tensions simmered. The Vietnam War raged on, claiming lives and sowing discord, while the Middle East was a cauldron of conflict, with nations teetering on the edge of war. It was a year of protests and uprisings. Across the globe, people took to the streets, demanding change and challenging the status quo. The voices of dissent grew louder, echoing through cities and towns. The very foundations of society seemed to tremble. Buildings crumbled under the weight of social unrest, and the air was thick with the cries of those yearning for justice and equality. In this climate of uncertainty, a different kind of drama was about to unfold high above the Atlantic Ocean. Amidst the chaos on the ground, the skies would soon witness their own form of turmoil. TWA Flight 85 en route from Los Angeles to Rome would become a microcosm of the global unrest. This flight, seemingly routine, would soon be anything but. Its passengers, a mix of nationalities and backgrounds, would soon find themselves bound together by fear and uncertainty. Each individual with their own story and destination would become part of a collective narrative of survival. Their ordinary journey would be transformed into a desperate fight for survival. The cabin, once a place of relative comfort, would become a battleground of emotions and instincts. The stage was set for an extraordinary event. The skies over the Atlantic, often seen as a vast expanse of tranquility, would become the backdrop for a harrowing ordeal. An event that would expose the vulnerability of air travel and the human capacity for both terror and resilience. The protocols and safety measures designed to protect would be put to the ultimate test. The hijacking of TWA Flight 85 was about to become another chilling chapter in the tumultuous story of 1969. A year already marked by strife and conflict would now have another dark episode to recount, one that would leave an indelible mark on the history of aviation and the collective memory of those who lived through it. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the tarmac at Los Angeles International Airport. The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, a serene backdrop to the bustling activity below. Passengers, their faces a mix of excitement and apprehension, boarded TWA Flight 85. Some clutched their tickets tightly, while others waved goodbye to loved ones, their hearts filled with anticipation for the journey ahead. Their destination, Rome, the Eternal City, a place of ancient history, vibrant culture, and timeless beauty. For many, it was a dream come true, a chance to walk the same streets as emperors and artists. Among them were families embarking on long-awaited vacations, businessmen on important trips, and individuals seeking new opportunities. Each passenger carried their own story, their own reasons for this journey. Young couples eager to explore the world, their eyes wide with wonder, held hands tightly as they boarded. Honeymooners, lost in their own world, whispered sweet nothings, dreaming of adventures yet to come. The air crackled with anticipation as the Boeing 707 taxied to the runway. The ground crew waved their final farewells and the captain's voice crackled over the intercom, assuring everyone of a smooth flight. The roar of the engines filled the cabin as the plane lifted into the night sky. Lights of the city below twinkled like stars, gradually fading as the aircraft ascended into the clouds. The familiar rhythm of flight lulled some passengers to sleep, their heads resting against the windows or on the shoulders of loved ones. The gentle hum of the engines provided a comforting background noise. Others chatted excitedly, sharing stories and laughter, or lost themselves in books and magazines, their minds wandering to distant lands and adventures. Little did they know that their journey would soon take a terrifying turn. The calm and routine of the flight would be shattered, leaving them to face an unexpected and harrowing ordeal. Among the passengers on TWA Flight 85 was a young man named Raffaele Minichiello. He was not just any passenger, he was a man with a mission that would soon shock the world. A former U.S. Marine, Minichiello harbored a deep-seated anger towards the world. His time in the military had left him scarred, both physically and emotionally. The discipline and structure of the Marines had given him a sense of purpose, but it had also exposed him to the harsh realities of life. He had grown disillusioned and desperate. The dreams he once had were now overshadowed by a sense of betrayal and abandonment. The world, in his eyes, had turned its back on him, leaving him to fend for himself in a sea of uncertainty. His life, he believed, had been a series of misfortunes and injustices. From his early years in Italy to his time in America, Minichiello felt that he had been dealt a cruel hand. Each setback, each disappointment only fueled his growing resentment. Driven by a potent mix of resentment and a desire for notoriety, Minichiello had hatched a daring plan. He meticulously plotted every detail, believing that this act would finally give him the recognition he craved. It was not just about the hijacking, it was about making a statement. He would hijack TWA Flight 85 and force it to fly him to Rome. Rome, the city of his birth, where he believed he could find solace and perhaps a new beginning. The plan was audacious, and the risks were immense, but Minichiello was determined. It was a desperate act, fueled by a potent cocktail of personal grievances and a misguided sense of righteousness. In his mind, this was his last chance to reclaim some semblance of control over his life. He saw himself as a revolutionary, not a criminal. In his mind, he was not a criminal but a victim seeking justice on his own terms. He believed that the world had wronged him, and this hijacking was his way of fighting back. It was a cry for help, a plea for recognition, and a desperate bid for redemption. Section 4. Terror in the Skies. The hijacking of TWA Flight 85. Hours into the flight, as the plane soared over the American heartland, Minichiello made his move. With a chilling calm, he rose from his seat and brandished a sawed-off rifle. Panic erupted in the cabin as passengers watched in disbelief. The stewardesses, trained for such situations, struggled to maintain order as fear gripped the passengers. Screams filled the air. Minichiello, his voice cold and steady, announced his hijacking. He demanded that the pilot change course for Rome. His demands were non-negotiable. The lives of everyone on board hung precariously in the balance. Section 5. Calculated calm. The pilot's response and the Denver decision. In the cockpit, Captain Donald Cook and his co-pilot, Wendell Adams, reacted with remarkable calm. They knew that their every action, every word, could have life or death consequences. They had to buy time and maintain a semblance of control. After a tense standoff, the pilots convinced Minichiello to allow a refueling stop in Denver. It was a calculated risk, a chance to buy time and perhaps alert authorities. The passengers, meanwhile, remained trapped in a terrifying limbo, their fate uncertain. Section 6. Tension in the terminal. Refueling in New York. After a tense refueling stop in Denver, Minichiello grew increasingly agitated. He ordered the pilots to continue their journey eastward, towards New York City. The tension on board was palpable. Passengers prayed silently, their faces etched with fear. At JFK Airport, FBI negotiators attempted to reason with Minichiello, but he remained steadfast in his demands. He wanted to go to Rome. He wanted the world to hear his story. The refueling process dragged on, each minute an agonizing eternity for the passengers and crew. Hope, however, flickered faintly as the authorities continued to engage with Minichiello, seeking a peaceful resolution.